She's alive! She's alive! And she's kind of a mess, but we love a messy queen. Hello, and welcome to Matty Loves Movies, the MLM you can trust. I am Matt, and I am here today to talk about The Bride, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. It is an adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and a remake, homage, probably neither, to The Bride of Frankenstein, directed by James Whale. Let me tell you, I had a blast with this movie. If you don't know about The Bride, it's set in 1930 Chicago in the universe of Frankenstein, where Dr. Frankenstein created his monster. But only kind of. It does take place also in kind of a liminal space between our real world and the world of Frankenstein. There are portions of it that it cuts back to that take place in that liminal space. I don't want to say much more about that because although portions of it are included in the trailers, it's not something that's really expanded on in the trailers. So I think the intention is for you to kind of learn about that as you're watching the movie. Although to be frank, the film does not really explain what's going on there so much, but it is important to the plot. So I did want to mention it a little bit, but it does take place in 1930s Chicago, or at least it begins there. Frankenstein arrives in 1930s Chicago to meet up with a scientist who lives there who specializes in reanimation of tissue. I think they call it something else, but that's how we're going to understand it here, which is a known science, or at least a known thing in this universe, because Dr. Frankenstein did create his monster in this universe, and at least some people do know about it because the doctor in question here, played by Annette Bening, beautifully, I might add, is aware of the process that took place there back in the 1800s. So also just to clarify here, I am going to probably refer to Frankenstein's monster as Frankenstein in this movie, in this review. Number one, because the movie calls him that throughout. And I'm usually a person who's like, a pedantic type of person. Frankenstein is actually the doctor. And that's true. But Frankenstein is also the monster in more ways than one. Frankenstein, the Dr. Frankenstein is the monster, because that's really the point of the story, isn't it? But Frankenstein's monster is called Frankenstein here, and they even clarify in the movie. He says after my father, so he is called Frankenstein because his father was called Frankenstein. They actually call him Frank a lot throughout this movie, but Frank shows up to speak with this doctor because he is lonely and he wants to be with someone. And that's where the bride comes in, played by Jessie Buckley, who is just magnificent in this film. She's magnificent in everything. I can't imagine she'll ever not be magnificent in anything, really. But she is absolutely incredible, stunning in this film. She actually plays two roles in this movie. She plays the bride, but she also plays Mary Shelley in that liminal space I spoke about earlier. That's all I'm going to go into on it. So they create the bride, and that's where the rest of the film comes in and takes over. And that's really all I'm going to really go much into in terms of the content in the film, or the plot of the film, except to say that it does, as I said, takes place in 1930s, starts out in Chicago. It goes other places. It has very much a feel of like Bonnie and Clyde. which I think we got from the trailers as well. What I really love about this film, and I mentioned it at the top, that it's kind of a mess, and I think that's due to two different things. Number one, they kind of had to butcher it a little bit. The test screenings were not super positive on it because specifically of some sexual violence that I assume they felt was too graphic or too not handled a way that they enjoyed. I don't know. I haven't seen that footage, so I couldn't say exactly what the cause there is. But so it was butchered a little bit, as they say, and I don't know what we missed out on, but what they ended up cobbling together is kind of not as cohesive as you would want from a film like this. But I will say the way it's cobbled together is very Frankenstein-esque. It feels appropriate for this film that is about these creatures, these people who were cobbled together and created and brought back to life from a previous version into what they are, which is not exactly what they were before, and is a maybe messier but still important and valid version. I also will say the other thing that kind of makes this film a little bit messy is the absolute ambition that we got from Maggie Gyllenhaal. She really went for this, and that was one thing we had heard early on, is that like she wanted full creative control, and she got that basically. I don't know whose decision it was to cut out the parts, but I assume it was hers based on the amount of creative control that she had. For instance, she demanded that they were able to film parts of it in New York when their studio wanted to film it in New Jersey, but she was given that control to go ahead and film, to make the decisions like that. So she takes huge swings in this movie, and for me, it completely works, even messes and all. In fact, the messiness is part of the appeal to me, and everybody knows I like a good campy movie. I like a bad movie sometimes. I like great movies. This is not one that I would consider bad at all. It does not fall in the frame wreck. If you know my other show over on the Dill Pickle Movie Network, it doesn't fall in frame wreck territory at all for me. But it does fall into campy a little bit, and that is, I think, not a result of the what they had to go through to change it. I think that is intentionally has a level of camp to it, but it's a camp that is taken rather seriously for the most part, and I think that is sometimes a very interesting and kind of unique camp aspect, is that when you take something extremely serious and you allow it to have these more theatrical, these bigger than life moments that may not seem like they fit in that setting quite as well, actually can create this like glorious cohesion, which again, I said the film is missing a little bit of cohesion, but I think that this actually creates a cohesion that sets it apart and puts it onto a different level, into a different type of film that actually makes it exactly what it is. It makes it a success. It makes it a delivery on what they were attempting to do in the first place. And I think that puts it on a level for me that almost like it was made specifically with me in mind. It's that kind of a film to me. That's not to say that other people don't like it. I think there's a lot of people who are going to be watching this movie and really, really digging it. But when you get to this kind of divergence from what one would consider, mainstream or the standard, if you're bucking any sort of trends, or if you are allowing the film to breathe on its own rather than trying to structure it in a way that is going to be more pleasing to a mass audience, that's going to turn some people away. And so anybody who did not care for it or did not work for them, I completely understand. But for me, it just worked. And most of the I won't say 100% of the time, but I would say 90% of the time, I will take a film that swings for the fences and misses over a film that takes zero risks and succeeds. Because usually those movies that are swinging for the fences, that are taking huge risks, whether they pay off or not, have more interesting choices, have more interesting visuals, they have more interesting things for me to enjoy in a film. Now, I say swings and misses. I actually think this hits. I think that this cobbled together idea, this Frankenstein's monster of a film, is actually probably more in line with what Maggie Gyllenhaal was going for. Of course, I don't know. She may say differently. She may say yes now that she's made it and it's become that oh, I meant to do that along. I have no idea. But to me, it feels intentional. This film also has a very, very strong feminist message going for it. I know there's been a lot of discussion around that. It passes the Bechdel test and everything like that. I actually thought it might have, but then I can't remember every moment of the conversation between the doctor and the bride. So there's a chance that it doesn't. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. It has a very strong feminist message about a woman's control of her own body, who gets to say what a woman does and who a woman is. And it has a lot to say about informed consent and the ambition of a woman who might seem to be held down by the standards of the day or by the standards set for her by other people in her life. It also features an aspect that's really close to me, and I have always gravitated toward monstrous type characters, and that is because I have always felt kind of monstrous myself. I'm a nice guy. I've never been an intimidating person in terms of my personality, but when it comes to the outside of me, I've always been very overweight. I've always looked like this, and so the idea of a monstrous character, especially one who and I find that this happens a lot, and when they are a primary character, especially one who has something deep down that has more to them than what you see on the surface, and that's what we get with this version of Frank. Also, he is a man. He's not just a man who's looking for. He's not looking for companionship because he wants to have sex. He's not looking for companionship because he wants someone to control. He's looking for companionship because he has feelings. He is not a monster. He is a man. Frankenstein is a story about a monster who created a man. That is what Frankenstein is. And Frankenstein's monster is not a monster. He is a man. He is a man who has been reanimated. And yes, he's a man who has parts of other men on him, but he is a man. And there's an aspect of him that I really, really enjoyed because, as I said, I already feel connected to these type of characters, but there's something about what he enjoys and the thing, and I don't want to go too far into this. I'm not going to say specifically, but what he enjoys doing with his leisure time and what he fantasizes about, what he aspires to, that really hit home for me as a person who also enjoys those things. So there was a lot about Frankenstein's monster that I really connected to. Plus, he's played by one of my favorite actors, Christian Bale, who along with the other two actors I mentioned just are superb in this film. Early in this film's production, we were told that it was going to be a musical. And I'm not sure if they ever announced that it wasn't, but I'm just here to tell you, if you're interested in this movie, and you're interested because it was a musical, we just tell you it's not a musical, at least not traditionally. There are a few numbers in it, but they are like musical numbers where the person on screen is singing, but they are on a screen. Like it's not like Frankenstein and his bride are singing songs. However, I will say that while it isn't a musical, it does have the spirit of a musical. And even saying that, I don't want to I don't really want to elaborate on that. You just have to see the movie, which is really my larger point. See this movie. I like to tell people, you know, what kind of people will like this. Like, if you're interested in this, you'll like this. This is one that if you're into movies that where a person, you know, movies that take big risks and movies that kind of break rules occasionally to kind of create what they are supposed to be, then this is the movie for you. But I will also say, I just think people need to give this movie a shot. I think they need to give this a chance. I don't think this needs to be the last time that a studio takes a chance on a director who wants to take big risks. So I just really want people to see it. But also, I just want to hear how other people found these aspects of it, and if those worked for them. I actually did end up buying 2 tickets to it because I used one of them to sneak into a different movie that I will not be talking about or be reviewing, but that I did still want to see, even though I'm boycotting it. If you don't know what that is, then you'll just have to be in the dark. If you know what that is, but I'm not going to review that movie. I'm not going to talk about it by name. I'm not even going to tell you that I didn't like it. But I will. I will say that people should go see The Bride, and if you're considering which of those 2 movies to see, go see The Bride. Go support. Go support the artistic talents of a person willing to make big choices, and a person who is willing to try to make something new out of something old, which may or may not have happened with that other movie. It didn't. And I encourage people, seek out movies that are different than even you enjoy. And I have been trying to do that myself. Last year I did a full 52 weeks thing where I needed to watch movies that I had never seen as part of it. I like to seek out movies that aren't necessarily my thing because I want that perspective. I want to see if I can find the joy in it. And I recommend people do that as well. And if you're going to do that, and this movie doesn't seem like something you'd be interested in, try it on this one, because I think that more people should be going out to see The Bride. Have you seen The Bride? Talk to me in the comments. Tell me, how did you like it? Did the kind of piecemeal conglomeration of different things of a different film, it seems, stitched together, did that work for you? Did you enjoy the themes? Did you feel like the themes hit? Because I feel like the themes hit really, really well. The execution may not be there for everybody, but I feel like the themes are really going to hit for everybody, because I think that they are brilliantly told in this film. But tell me, did you feel that? Did you like it? I will be back next Saturday with the next episode of Scream King, which, if you don't know, is our Stephen King from Page to Screen show, where we read a written work by Stephen King, and then we watch the adaptation or adaptations of it and then discuss that. This next episode is going to be about Gerald's Game. We already released one about Misery. You should go check that out if you haven't. But talk to me in the comments. Bye.